With 10 NCAA and 16 SEC championships to their credit, the Georgia Gym Dogs enjoy iconic status in collegiate gymnastics. This week, they head into Baton Rouge to take on 8-3 LSU Tigers, who have already beaten Georgia once this year and are looking to stay undefeated at home in 2013. This SEC rivalry has come to a boiling point. It's Georgia versus LSU next.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center on the campus of Louisiana State University for tonight's matchup between number 7 Georgia and number 5 LSU. Hi everyone, I'm Bart Connor, and we're glad you've joined us. There's always plenty of drama in the SEC women's gymnastics, but this year the emotions are ramped up to an even higher level because of some off-season coaching changes. After the last 3 disappointing season finishes, Gym Dog coach Jay Clark, who along with Suzanne Yotlin helped build the dynasty at Georgia, he resigned. After an extensive search, Dana Durante left Cal Berkeley to take the coveted head coaching position at Georgia. Durante, realizing that she needed an assistant who was familiar with the SEC, invited LSU assistant coach Philip Ogletree to come to Georgia. Then, to make things even more interesting, Jay Clark accepted the co-head coach position at LSU alongside Dee Dee Bro. And I'm joined, as always, by Kathy Johnson-Clark, and you talk about a coaching carousel and lots of emotions. That certainly adds a little additional spice to tonight's competition, doesn't it?
Well, as everyone knows, Georgia's season did not end the way they hoped it would last year at Nationals, and you can put a Band-Aid on that wound, but sometimes things just don't heal quickly enough. So it wasn't a huge surprise when Jay Clark resigned, but then the switching of coaches going to LSU and Philip Ogletree going to Georgia, that was like ripping the Band-Aid off the wound and taking the scab with it. It's painful, but perhaps maybe it was good in the long run, because I actually see good things happening in both programs.
Now, LSU has been red hot. Let's talk about some of their stars tonight.
Oh, they've had a great season thus far. They steadily improve week by week. And it certainly doesn't hurt to have third-ranked all-around gymnast Rheagan Courville. She's an unusually talented gymnast, shows a lot of form and elegance, and it's wonderful to watch. And then there's Lloimincia Hall, who is just as entertaining as possible, especially on the floor exercise, and the routine really speaks for itself.
Now, one of the key performers for Georgia, Noelle Couch, she's out with her second injury of the season. She's normally a real important leader for that team. Who can we expect to step up for Georgia tonight?
Well, Noelle will still lead from the sidelines, because that's crucial, and she has her senior teammates who will definitely provide leadership and great gymnastics. But we've also got some really exciting routines, particularly on vault and the uneven bars. Chelsea Davis does an outstanding routine and has been unbelievably consistent throughout the season. And then there is the dynamic freshman duo, Randi J and Britney Rogers. Wow, are they really exciting to watch. They've instantly raised the level of gymnastics, the level of difficulty, and I think it's going to be a great competition. This could be a very close matchup.
All right, well, it's, of course, SEC dual meet competition, which means we'll see the vault, the bars, the beam, and the floor. Every team gets to put up 6 athletes on each event, with just the top 5 scores counting towards their team total. And first up for the LSU Tigers will be Kaleigh Dickson, the junior out of Oldsmar, Florida.
And this is a great event for them. They're ranked 2nd in the nation. Yurchenko full. Look at the lead to start them off. Wow.
She's known to be a leader inside and outside of the gym. Incredible opening performance.
Very online, clean vault. The best part, the landing, though. When you can open up the rotation with the landing, that's good.
All right, quickly to the bars. Lindsey Cheek will be the first performer for the Gym Dogs from Georgia. Cheek is just a junior out of Watkinsville, Georgia.
Very impressed with her warm-up. Big gymnastics here. Nice height on that release move. Couple little form breaks, but boy, she's hitting the handstands and showing amplitude.
She's been consistent as a leadoff performer on bars in all 9 meets this season.
Great position for a double layup. Oh. Nails the landing. I think we're going to see a little extra competitiveness in this competition, and it starts now.
It sure does. She's known to have ice in her veins, and both teams lead off with a perfectly stuck
performance. Back to the vault now, Britney Taylor, who hasn't seen a lot of action for LSU, but she did get a 9.925 on vault against Auburn.
Same vault, nice position. Notice how she waits before she goes into the twist. Really set it up nicely off the table, good block. Almost a hesitation, boom, up, then twist. Look at the landing there.
How about that? She's one of just 2 seniors on the squad for the Tigers at LSU. Proud of that performance.
I think they've dared each other not to stick.
Back to the bars now. Krista Tonella, the senior out of Lucas, Texas, having just a fantastic year.
Bart, this is a pretty routine. When you see good technique, it's just such a good feeling for those of us who really recognize it and love to see it. When she does her giant full pirouette on top of the bar, perfect body line.
Typically very consistent on the uneven bars.
Very nice form. Choke here, her release move. Oh, beautiful.
End of her fingertips.
She's giving us a thrill here. Marks this full pirouette right on top of the bar. Excellent work. Tough double back, not a difficult dismount, but in combination, she gets those bonus points. She gets nothing away. She's very, very clean. Boy, so far so good for both teams.
Back to the vault now. Jessie Jordan, the sophomore out of Houston, Texas, will be next up for the LSU Tigers. The score for Lindsey Cheek was a 9.8 on bars, 2 9.9s to start off the rotation for LSU.
Big, beautiful vault. I mean, this is going to get redundant.
The scores are up there. Kaleigh Dickson had 9.9, a season and career high. Britney Taylor had a 9.9. We could look at another big score here, Kathy.
A gorgeous landing, slight knee bend, but they are just really zeroing in on that perfect landing.
Nice to see Bob Moore, who is one of the other coaches, probably one of the unsung heroes over at LSU. He's been there 20 years, and he is a specialist, in fact, particularly on vault.
He does a terrific job. He plays games in the gym with sticking games. If it mixes it up so that they stay fresh while still working on bettering their vaults.
He has coached 4 NCAA champs to vault titles from LSU. Randi J now, the freshman out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Very exciting young gymnast for the Gym Dogs.
I agree. She's got to clean up the form just a little bit. She gives away some with her feet coming unpointed. Not quite hitting those handstands, being just a little bit cautious. Very, very nice move there. Very short on that last handstand, unfortunately. Beautiful dismount. Oh, no, didn't quite pull it around. She did it perfectly in the warm-ups. Half in, half out. Opened up just a little too soon to look for the landing.
All right, exciting gymnastics. LSU has 3 9.9s to start off vault. Don't go away. And we're back now. Maliah Mathis will be the junior out of San Antonio who will go up next for LSU. All 3 gymnasts have scored 9.9 so far in the vault rotation.
Oh, much more difficult vault to stick. And unfortunately, she brought her head forward and her chest and just could not lay that out. You have to wait on this and not look for the landing. You have to feel the landing. She brought the head forward and caused her to over-rotate.
Understandable that everybody's a little extra amped up tonight. There's a lot of drama here in the SEC because of these recent coaching changes, and so I think that has added a little extra intensity to the competition tonight. Shayla Worley will be next up for Georgia. 9.425 is the score for Randi J, so a little added pressure on the senior here.
And like her teammate Krista Tonella, Shayla has beautiful form. Execution is excellent. Really hitting that handstand there. Nice big release move. This is a pretty routine.
Talking 2 of the best teams in the country right here. Georgia is ranked number 2 in the NCAA on bars.
Oh, just a little bitty step backwards, but that was a gorgeous routine.
9.775. Next up for LSU, Randi Lau.
The score for Maliah Mathis for LSU after that big step was a 9.775. Randi Lau will get the call now. to do a vault. She's a sophomore out of Honolulu, scored 9.925 previously on this event.
Nice to see Randi in the lineup. She's been a little inconsistent in workout, but she proved to coach she could do it. That's a nice big vault, good amplitude off the table.
They really are stretching before the landings. All of them, aren't they?
Yes.
Next up for Georgia,
Score on bars for Georgia's Shayla Worley, 9.825. A lot of pressure on this young freshman, Britney Rogers, who happened to compete for the Canadian Olympic team this past summer in London and helped them to their historic 5th place finish in the team finals.
And these final 2 routines for Georgia are sensational. Huge moves. I love the stalder work. Very, very nice form. Beautiful transition back up to the high bar. I love the way she uses this stalder element. Half in, half out, and a gorgeous landing.
Just what Georgia needed. Britney Rogers, the young freshman who's traveled all over the world competing on the World Cup circuit. She's been to Germany, Brazil, Croatia, and today she nails one here in Baton Rouge.
Great combination of difficulty, execution, and form.
Randi Lau's score on vault for LSU at 9.875. Rheagan Courville, their star all-around performer, will be their final vaulter for the Tigers.
And she's capable of a big one here. Look at the distance, and she managed to stick those feet into the mat and not move. Almost looked like she would over-rotate with all the height and distance she got on that vault.
She's ranked 3rd in the country in the all-around, 5th on vault.
Uncanny awareness of where she is and just really planted those feet, only slid them back slightly. Very, very slight knee bend throughout the vault, but great distance.
Chelsea Davis will be the final performer for Georgia on the bar. She's ranked #1 in the country, and you're going to see why.
Yeah, uncanny with how consistent she's been with huge routines week after week.
Her average is 9.935 on the season. 3-time All-American.
Beautiful. Very, very nice routine. Almost a perfectly stuck dismount. They might give it to her. She held it as long as she could before stepping back right here. Get those arms up and turn and face the judge.
All right, we'll come back with the score for Chelsea Davis and the standings after the first of 4 rotations. This is going to be a great one tonight. Don't go away. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. Let's take a look at the scores in the first rotation. Georgia was on the bars. Britney Rogers and Chelsea Davis finished with 9.9s to give Georgia a 49.25 in the first rotation. LSU, however, was hot on the ball. In fact, 4 scores were 9.9 or better. So that 49.5 is their score in the first of 4 rotations. So here are the team standings. By 0.25 of a point, LSU at home leads the visiting Gym Dogs. We spoke to Coach Dana Durante and senior Krista Tonella about the important meeting that took place that really began the process of this team coming together this year.
That moment, we were all 3 very vulnerable, and I think they saw for the first time that this was a tough transition for us as well, that we had all moved families across the country, that we were nervous about how they would receive us, because we kind of just became very transparent in that meeting. And so I think, you know, I saw, it was unique. I saw tears in their eyes, like, oh my gosh, okay, it's been hard for us, but we see that it's been hard for them as well. And so I think that at that moment, it sort of, we started to grow together more as a family.
Dana, in a nutshell, I would just say she's got heart. I mean, she has something, she knows what she wants, and that what she wants is your heart, you know? She wants you on board with her decisions. She wants a team, she wants a unit, and that's something that's easy to just respect, you know? It's nothing about her best interest or what she wants out of this job. She sees you and she wants you to go the furthest, and it's a lot easier to trust somebody whenever you see that they are wanting your success.
Boy, it's incredible when you see the road going both ways, mutual respect building between athletes and coach, and they're really working together.
Starting the second rotation for Georgia, Chelsea Davis first up on vault.
And this too can be a great event for them. I watched them rock landings against Alabama. And they started just like that with the first vault of Chelsea Davis, nailed landing.
Georgia's ranked 4th in the country on this event.
Jessie Jordan.
Boy, excellent landing. Not quite as high off the table as we might see, but clean form, and you can't beat the landing.
Coaching staff said that they have the knack for finding the landings. Back quickly to the bars now. Jessie Jordan for LSU.
I saw nerves in her, and I was hoping I was completely wrong, just a little tight in the face and watching her throughout warm-ups. She had a terrific freshman season. She's been a little inconsistent this year. It's an unfortunate lead-off routine. It's hard to start with a miss, but keep in mind you drop the 1 score. They know that. This is team gymnastics. She just released a little too early, took it out, away from the bar, just rushed it just a little bit. You couldn't quite hang on.
Keep in mind, Georgia had a low score on bars as well. So Sarah Persinger, the sophomore out of North Carolina, will be next up. Chelsea Davis had a season-high 9-9.
Sarah's having a terrific season. Unfortunately, couldn't come up with a stick landing here. Decent vault in the air, but piked down right at the end and caused her to over-rotate.
Coaches have been working with her on some of the details that will come in handy as we get ready for the championship portion of the season, where every half a tenth of a point will count. Britney Ranzy will be next up for LSU on the bars. Ranzy's a sophomore out of Chesapeake, Virginia. She sat out 2012 as she transferred from LSU to LSU from Oregon State. Still recovering from an Achilles injury that has hampered some of her development this fall.
Jay liked that last handstand, hit it right on top. Big dismount. Little different technique on that double layout. Kind of started in the open pike position and then pops it open into the layout.
By the way, the first score for Jessie Jordan for LSU on the bars was a low 9.125. Back to the vault now. Sarah Persinger had a 9.75. Kat Hires will be up next. The junior out of Tampa.
Good distance. Just the one little foot sliding back on the landing, but excellent distance from the table. Let's see if it balances out with the height. You really want to see both on the vault. Chest was slightly down on the landing, but a good vault.
Kaleigh Dickson, you see that she had a 9.9 on vault, a career high to start for LSU over there, and she comes to the bars now after Britney Ranzy's 9.75. So LSU now needs 4 spectacular routines if they're going to try to hold on to a lead over Georgia.
And Kaleigh has really responded well to Jay's coaching on this event. She's improved a lot. A little bit short on that handstand. Transition to the low bar. Big dismount. I think it surprised her. That's the kind of landing that hurts, but it hurts so good.
Home score for the Gym Dogs.
Boy, she did not move.
Boy, she was fighting for that one. Great amount of culture change for LSU on the bars. They're looking good there now. Brittany Rogers will be the next vaulter up for the University of Georgia.
And watch this vault, but she sets it up like no other. Wait, 1.5 twist. Oh, shoot, she's stuck in warm-ups perfectly. I can tell by her face, oh, she wanted the one back from warm-ups because she just nailed it.
She made the finals at last year's Olympics on the vault.
Well, you can see why. Just really nice technique on this vault. This was not her best. I've seen it much better. Pulled her head forward, over-rotate a little bit. It's still a gorgeous vault and much more difficult than your Chimbo vault.
Her teammate, by the way, Kat Hires, had a 9.825. Back to the bars now. 9.85, the score for Kaleigh Dickson. So quick update. Scores there are 9.125, 9.75, and a 9.85. So once again, a lot of pressure on these final 3 gymnasts for LSU.
Rheagan mentioned to me they have really embraced Jay and like the culture change on bars, the demand for better work in training, and they're really improving their bar work. Oh! Really had to get that swing going again. The transition was a little weak going up to high bar, but nice dismount, and she has a way of finding that landing, no matter where she is in the air, kind of like a cat. And just zeroes in on it, says, I am not moving.
The sophomore out of Baton Rouge, her home is just about 10 miles from here. She said she has at least 100 family and friends here to cheer her on tonight. Lindsey Cheek will be next up for Georgia. Brittany Rogers had a 9.8.
Lindsey has a big vault, nice distance. Oh, good landing. I'd say pretty darn good landing. I think she wanted to stay there a little bit longer, but she emphasized the stick before stepping back quickly. A little bit loose with the legs at the end, but fought for the landing.
First score for Georgia was a 9.9. The other scores 9.75, 9.825, and 9.8. Back to the bars now for LSU. Rheagan Courville had a 9.85, which is definitely solid. Extra pressure on Randii Wyrick now,
who has a very, very good routine. Early in the season, she was somewhat inconsistent. She seemed to find her way here. Nice full pirouette, right into the release move.
The coaching staff said they were waiting to see a little more consistency in training before they put her in the full lineup. Looking good here. Former junior Olympic national champ.
All right, not bad. She was just a little cautious going for the handstands, but very close on all of them. And pulls off a perfect landing.
It's just so interesting to see Jay Clark spotting a gymnast from LSU after 20 years at Georgia, and 3, of course,
takes
as
a little
the
getting
most
used
recent
to.
head coach. Yeah, it's a real change. Brandi J now will be the final 4 vaulter for Georgia. Lindsey Cheek had a 9.85. Scores for Georgia are solid there, but not spectacular. They need a big score here.
They can get it. She has a huge vault, 1.5. And remember in the warm-up right before the event started, she nailed it. Didn't quite come up with the stick here, but it's a big, beautiful vault. Little bit of leg form. Didn't quite come up with the landing she had in the warm-ups. But again, the 1.5 is so much harder, and we've talked about this. We don't know why they don't change the values of these vaults to give them credit for doing
for something more difficult.
Exactly.
The score for Randii Wyrick, a 9.925. So she shook off that inconsistency at just the right time. That is a season and career high for the young lady.
And she has set up Sarie Morrison here because Sarie has a gorgeous bar routine, big swing, really hits the handstands when she goes after them.
Ranked number 6 in the country on this event.
Nice. Big Jaeger front. See how aggressive she is going for these handstand positions. Excellent transition back up to the high bar. See if she can get a stick here. Half in, half out. Beautiful form in the air. Oh my gosh, what are they going to do? Okay, what do? You've gone 9.925 before.
7 times she won the bar title this year. Her career high was 9.95 versus Auburn. Are we going to see something more than that tonight?
I don't know. She scored a 10 on the vault in her last competition. I know it probably felt really good.
All right, we'll be back with her score in the standings at the halfway point in this exciting SEC battle. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Let's take a look at the scores. After the second rotation, Georgia was on the vault. Chelsea Davis nailed that 9.9 to start off the rotation, but that was the only 9.9 that Georgia could manage in that rotation. LSU on the bar. The low 9.125 will be dropped, but look at those big scores at the end. Wyrick and Morrison, 9.925s for a 49.3 event score. So here are the standings after the 2 rotations, the halfway point in the competition. LSU leads visiting Georgia by .35. Kaleigh Dickson will be the first up for LSU on the balance beam. She opened up vault and scored a 9.9, so I think they changed the lineup here just a few minutes ago. Erica Garcia, who normally is their leadoff performer, got pulled out and Dickson got the call.
Wow. At least Didi calls Kaleigh her second first person. So she's like a leadoff person in the second spot, so she's comfortable and strong as a leadoff performer. Okay, a solid performance, not a high level of difficulty, but what you want from this leadoff performer is to hit that routine, give nothing away. Front handspring to 2 feet, a little bit sloppy with the form, got to work on that and really transition right into the gainer dismount.
Kaylan Earls, the powerful tumble out of Chicago, Illinois, will be the first up for Georgia on the floor. She is typically the anchor on balance beam and the lead off on floor exercise. Came back from an Achilles tendon tear in 2011 to work her way back up in the lineup in 2012.
Very nice landing in the second pass.
Coaches call her a gamer. They said, honestly, workout is not her favorite thing. But when the lights come on, she turns on.
Turns it up a notch. Well done.
Nice leadoff performer for Georgia. Kaylan Earls.
Next on the balance beam for LSU.
Very good punch on this first
Taylor.
pass. Open position before she pikes it in. Best landing, though, was right here. Tuck double back.
To beam quickly, Britney Taylor up now. For LSU, the score for Kaleigh Dickson, a 9.775. Taylor is the senior out of Memphis, Tennessee.
It'll be interesting to see what the last minute change does. 2 or 4 of these athletes. Everyone responds differently, but you have to be able to. You never know what happens. Sometimes an athlete gets hurt in the warm-up, and you've got to make a last minute change. You want to be ready for anything.
Taylor had a spectacular 9.9 vault in the first rotation. That Didi Bro now has a little more depth than she's had in the past. So she has the luxury of being able to manipulate her lineup. That wasn't the case a few years ago.
Well, that's nice, and they can push each other in training. As she said, she really wants them earning that spot by their training, by their warm-up discipline, and of course, competition.
This is the one event where they are vulnerable. They're ranked 15th in the country.
9.80.
Not as high as their other events.
For Georgia,
Another solid routine. Again, not huge difficulty in the routine, but they're doing what they need to do.
Krista Tonelli, she had a 9.825 on bars earlier. Kaylan Earls opened up their rotation there with a 9-8 on floor.
And the performance quality of this routine is excellent. Very precise in her footwork. All the positions are just picture perfect. Russell Warfield has done an excellent job with the choreography of all of these gymnasts at Georgia.
Coach Dana Durante said she really is the spirit of this team.
You know, and there's a spark to her gymnastics this season. I see the change, and I get the sense she's enjoying herself. Whereas last year, I don't know that she was really enjoying gymnastics. She had to find that again, and made a special connection with Dana, the new coach. After first putting up walls, she said it herself. They were defensive. They did not want the change. Nobody wanted to lose Jay, but when it happened, they showed maturity, led the team to tear down the wall between the new coaching staff.
And that whole process took about 6 to 7 months before they warmed up to the new coaching environment, the new coaching philosophy, and it really took the leadership of the seniors to say, hey, wait a minute, we have a choice here to either make it work or not.
And Dana doing all the right things. And once they discovered she truly had their back and cared about them, not just as gymnasts, not just wanting their gymnastics good, but she wanted their heart okay.
Britney Ranzy now, 9.725 with the score for Britney Taylor.
Good fight. Unfortunately, that'll be a significant deduction. You could see it from the beginning of the routine, just very uptight, tense, and it sort of builds.
You mentioned this is where they're vulnerable. The scores so far are only 9.775 and a 9.725. It's an opportunity for Georgia to work their way back into this contest.
Obviously, this is the score they will want to draw. Start from here.
As only Dee Dee Bro can say. She said the other day in an interview, she said, there's a little stinking thinking going on balance beam, and that's showing up a little bit here today.
And the stinking thinking usually leads to just doubt creeping in, and once there's doubt, it's hard to go after these landings aggressively.
Sarah Persinger will be up now. The score for Krista Tonello is a 9.875. So the two scores for Georgia are 9.8 and 9.875.
Routines are so different from one another, just as personalities and strengths and weaknesses are different. So should the routine and the personality of the routine. Very nicely done. Good dance, nice choreography.
Beautiful performance for the 2012 All-America Honor Athlete on floor exercise, Sarah Persinger.
Please welcome Lloimincia Hall.
All right, more gymnastics here in the third rotation. Don't go away. Welcome back to Baton Rouge, Lloimincia Hall. Now the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas. Up for LSU on the beam. The scores have not been spectacular there for the break. The score for Ranzy was a 9.075.
I like that Didi says this is a team player. She is ready to do whatever she needs to do, whatever event she needs her to compete on. Lloimincia tends to get a little nervous on beam, but over the course of last year and this season, she has really controlled the nerves. You don't see them as much in her work. Just very, very nice jumps. The position in the air high above the beam. Good flexibility. Could point the toes just a little bit more. They needed this routine. Oh, no. Just a little short on the landing and a big hop forward. Unfortunately, just rushed all the way through that dismount. Sometimes you can want to get to the landing too quickly. Couldn't quite pull it around, opened up, but she kept herself from touching the floor or hitting the beam again by lunging forward. But that's a big step and a big deduction.
Unfortunate for Mincy Hall, but we're looking forward to her floor exercise coming up a little bit later. Sarah Persinger had a 9.85. Britney Rogers now for Georgia. All their scores there have been 9.8 or better so far.
Big Arabian double front, but just about didn't make it around. Russell said this was the party theme routine.
She really has that elite polish that you could tell from someone who's competed at the Olympic level.
Some fun with collegiate gymnastics. There's a lot of difficulty. Double pike at the end, stays in bounds.
Nice job for Britney Rogers out of British Columbia, Canada.
She opened with an Arabian double front, one of the more difficult opening tumbling runs. Didn't quite get it around. It was just a little awkward throughout the air, but she managed to stay on her feet. Closed with a pike double back.
Rheagan Courville on beam now. Lloimincia Hall's score of a 9.65.
Watch this trick. This is great. It's very unexpected, except we know it's coming. Arabian.
Oh,
and she does it so well.
She lands standing straight up and down. That's so hard.
When you look at her, you don't expect power. She's just unusual in that she has flexibility and strength and power, good technique. She can work a little bit more on the form, really staying tight, keeping those toes pointed throughout.
She's a sophomore. She's the first LSU gymnast ever to reach first-team All-America status in the all-around. She did that last year. She has enormous potential.
Absolutely. Terrific all-around gymnast. And they want to bring out the tiger in her. She's very smooth in her work. But Didi wants to see just that fight there and real aggressive approach in competition. Very nicely done.
I mentioned she grew up here in town. She said she doesn't miss a football game ever.
I know, I asked her, I said, how far do you live from here? She goes, my house is about 10 minutes. Always dreamed. I mean, she bleeds purple. She has always wanted to be an LSU Tiger.
Nice job for Rheagan Courville. Back to floor for Georgia. Shayla Worley, the senior, will go.
And she is lovely on this event. Very expressive. Everything is stretched completely. Every position, thought put into it. Facial expression, it's beautiful.
Brittany Rogers' score was a 9.675.
Showing it all. This is one of the best floor routines I've seen Shayla do, combining both good landings on the tumbling.
Well, she wants to have a strong finish after disappointment the last couple of years here at Georgia. She's one of her own toughest critics. Boy, her tumbling was precise.
Got really good height. And again, it's not from power. It is from technique and timing. She was on.
Jessie Jordan now, the final performer for LSU on the beam. The score for Rheagan Courville, a 9.85. So at this point, the lowest score is the 9.075 for Britney Ranzy. So if they can get a solid score here for Jessie Jordan.
And she's terrific on this event. Moves very confidently. I like the swiftness of the choreography. It's nice to see her confident and aggressive after the mishap on the uneven bars to come back, especially on this event, and aggressively go after it.
Even when she's a little off, she can finesse the landings and the positions, right?
Come on, pull it. Good for her. Well done.
A crucial score for LSU on the beam when they needed it most. Jessie Jordan.
It's what it's all about. You come back strong. Your teammates have your back when you've had a miss on the bars. Come back and anchor the balance beam so well. Good for her.
Final performer now for Georgia on the floor will be Randii J. The score just before her, Shayla Worley, a 9.775.
Watch this pass. It's big. You don't see it very often in women's collegiate gymnastics. It's double back and full twist, but the twist is on the second somersault. Full out.
Plans to continue to compete as an elite athlete following the collegiate season. In fact, her mom moved with her. She's from Fort Collins, Colorado. Her mom moved with her here to college because she said, we've shared this long road together and we're going to stick this out together. Good for them.
Beautiful middle pass. Front double twist right into a punch front. See, this is an example of going above and beyond the level of difficulty that's required to have the routine worth a 10.0. It's one of the things we discussed earlier about really giving credit to athletes that are performing more difficulty.
I I mean, there's a lot of parity in collegiate gymnastics, but I think they can tweak the rules a little bit to reward those who go above and beyond.
And then take the deductions that are there. Floor performances throughout.
Good job for Georgia.
It's not the easiest thing to compete away. You know, you'd get a much bigger response. Gorgeous first pass. That just takes power. Power and technique. Good lift off the floor.
All right, we'll be back to the score for Randi J, and the scores after 3 of 4 rotations. Don't go away. And welcome back to Baton Rouge. Oh, man, I love that crawfish. Kati, I know you're a vegetarian, but give me a plate of that.
But I trained here for several years, and it's crawdads, by the way, but you can have them.
They go through 2,000 pounds a night at that place, and I'll take a couple pounds for myself. All right, let's take a look at the scores of the third rotation. Georgia on the floor. That low 9.675 was dropped. And the scores for LSU on the beam. Fortunately, Rheagan Courville and Jessie Jordan capped off their performances there. That 9.85 and 9.875 were clutch routines as they dropped the 9.075 for Ranzy. So here are the standings after 3 of 4 rotations. The host team, LSU Tigers, with a 75 thousandths of a point lead over the visiting Gym Dogs from Georgia. This will be close as we wrap up the final rotation, and one gymnast sitting on the sideline and not competing tonight is Noelle Couch.
And boy, she's doing her best from the sidelines, but they could have used her big score. She's the typical anchor for that event.
Critical performance now for Georgia on the beam. This is Sarah Persinger. She's the leadoff person.
And I like her on this event. She's so pretty, moves so confidently on beam. And she really works on the details. Now this is an opportunity here for Georgia. They are a better beam team, but not if you don't hit. You cannot give away a fall or a major break. If they hit, that's one of those things you don't want to do.
And this is where the wheels fell off last year at the NCAA championships. 3 falls from the beam. They had to count 2 mistakes. And that led to
Same
a
thing
lot of
happened
doubt and turbulence in the
against
entire
Florida.
program.
You know, they're for vault and bars, they're sensational. They compete well. They've just got to figure this out on beam. And as Dan has told him, she says, I just refuse to accept we are not a great beam team. We are. They do it in practice, and they must be able to do it in competition. And you can do pressure sets, you can do all you want, trying to recreate that in the gym. But it's just different when you get out there. And for some athletes, they need to get out of their head. For some, it's more focus. Just taking charge of your destiny on this event. Being aggressive. There you go. Good job. She pulled that one move back on the beam. Gave away a little bit of a deduction, but she didn't let it go completely.
And first up for
Right here.
LSU,
Her hands from the layout, step out.
Jordan.
Really got to be strong in the core, get those legs down on the beam, and then move on.
Jessie Jordan now up for LSU on the floor. She's had a good performance on the beam.
They are ranked #1 on this event. This is a terrific event for them. Ashley currently does a very, very good job with the choreography of bringing out the performance of these athletes. Advantage of performing in front of a home crowd. That always brings out even more. They need to take advantage of that. Georgia's got a turn. interesting. Both teams are in a position to put themselves in the driver's seat. LSU has great floor routines. If they attack, nail all the landings, give away nothing, they can score big.
Jessie Jordan.
LSU is the #1 ranked team in the NCAA on the floor.
For the Gym Dogs, Sarie Morrison, 9-7-2-5.
She worked hard on that landing.
Kati Breazeal.
Nice middle pass, the front full to the front layout.
Back to the beam now. Sarah Persinger had a 9-7-2-5. Kati Breazeal now. She's a senior out of Allen, Texas.
I like her gymnastics. They're very stretched, pretty positions. You see a little nerves just slightly creeping in, a little tight. It's a fine line between relaxing on this event, staying very focused. Most important, you stay in the moment with every single skill. Don't move ahead, don't look behind.
She trained at WOGA, the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy, which has produced Olympic champions like Carly Patterson, Nastia Luke, and you can see that she has that polish of that elite gymnast.
Nice finish. Aerial cartwheel into a full twist. Good combination.
Jessie Jordan.
Showed a lot of fight here. Slightly loose on the landing, but then pulled it right back.
For the LSU Tigers, please welcome.
Confidence
Kaleigh
built throughout the routine
Dickson.
and finished strong.
Kaleigh Dickson will be next up. Jessie Jordan opened up with a 9.8 on the floor.
She does her pike double back in the middle. Very clean dance, clear positions. Stickler with footwork, so I really like to see strong footwork. No bobbles away. Very strong choreography. And that's even without the tiger that they all have to have in your routine.
Yeah, that's compulsory,
yes.
Right. Well, it is true that Mike the Tiger, Mike the 6th, is just a few hundred feet from here in his glamorous surrounded
beautiful animal.
Beautiful. Lindsey Cheek will be up. You talked about gymnasts who bleed purple. Well, here's a gymnast who grew up just in the perimeter of the program at the Gym Dogs and grew up her entire life saying that's the program I want to be with.
And we were there for her very first competition. She competed in the all-around.
Out of her mind.
Out of her mind. It was amazing. Last year she dealt with some injuries, but made it to the vault finals. And she's really matured. This season, I've seen her best gymnastics thus far.
She's going to have ice in her veins.
That's even popular here. They love it at Georgia.
Gets the leadoff call on 9 meets this year. She's led off on that. She's third up in the lineup. Of course, the rotation is all confused a little bit because Noelle Couch is pulled out.
Excellent routine. She really, really fights for every tenth of a point. It's nice to see.
The scores for Georgia on beam so far: Persinger a 9.725 and Breazeal a 9.75.
Jessica Savona.
Back to the floor for LSU. Kaleigh Dickson had a 9.85, so their two scores are 9.8 and 9.85.
This is a high energy routine with some big tumbling. 1.5 twist all the way through to a tuck double back. It's a lot of tumbling in one pass.
You saw that here's a young lady who has tore her ACL twice, and look at the power that she still has.
I mean, she's just packed more difficulty in those first two passes than everybody combined, just about. Dee says she has about 6 passes she can pick from. Wouldn't that be nice?
The first floor routine is a freshman for LSU. She scored a 9.925. It's the highest event score by any LSU freshman in the first meet in school history.
She does a double back in every single pass, some twisting, some tumbling into, and finishes with a pipe double back. Powerful tumbling.
It's interesting that both teams have a Canadian Olympian. She was 6-time member of the Canadian national team. She was the first alternate on the 2012 Olympic team for Canada. 3 more gymnastic routines for each team to come. Don't go away. And we're back. Brittany Rogers now on the beam for Georgia. Score for Lindsey Cheek, a 9.875.
And there's no getting around it. They need some huge scores now on beam. They've done some solid routines, but they need upwards toward 9.9s now in these final routines.
Coming into this rotation, LSU had a lead of 0.75.
Very nice. Dana says both Britney and Randi very hard on themselves. They really demand a lot of themselves in practice, aren't satisfied until they perfect things. It's good quality to have in gymnastics, and particularly in this event. But she pulls it around. She got a little deduction for being off center, but I like that she does difficulty in her tumbling, in these connections, one-arm handstand, very brief, but one-arm handstand, and in the dance. Flip-flop layout right into the dismount, slightly off to the side, but you're dismounting anyway, so off you go.
LSU still maintaining a slight lead as we go back to the floor exercise. Jessica Savona had a 9.875. Maliah Mathis, the SEC Specialist of the Week of the Metroplex Challenge in Dallas.
Says her forte is she is always ready to compete. Nice combination pass. Again, showing good difficulty in this routine. Open with the double layout. Beautiful amplitude on the boots. Solid routines here for LSU.
Didi Bro said
Great
she's
event.
one of the key reasons why LSU is off to such a great season this year.
That's one of my favorite passes right there. The pike front, step out, tumbles through to a tuck double back. Open with a nice double layout. She landed a little bit low with the chest down. That should be a slight deduction.
But once again, you admire an athlete that can go for the higher level of difficulty.
Yes.
Because you can
They
still
gotta
get a
figure
high
out a way
score.
to do that.
Right. I think we've harped on that enough
Yes.
tonight. Kayla Worley now.
She is a treat on this event. She can be absolutely spectacular on this event. Her flexibility, choreography, just the total package.
Brittany Rogers had a 9.85. Those are the scores that Georgia needs if they're going to keep it close with LSU in this final rotation.
Very dramatic with her arm position. Extension is gorgeous. You can really see the focus. She is so capable of just the biggest score on this event because she gives nothing away in form and execution.
Tied her career high of 9.95 on beam versus Missouri this year.
Lovely. Oh, fight for that landing. Boy, that's a great job.
For the LSU Tigers, Maliah Mathis, 9.875. Next on board for LSU, please welcome.
She pulled off one of these at Nationals last year with a 9.95. She's incredible on this event when she's on.
Maliah Mathis had a 9.875. Hometown girl Rheagan Courville now.
She can get off the floor, let me tell you. Beautiful height on this opening double Arabian.
Power is deceiving. These teams separated by less than 3/10 of a point as we come down to the final couple of routines.
A little mushy on the takeoff, but she pulled it around. It's not a perfect landing, so they'll have to take a little deduction there. No deduction on that first pass, just kind of mushy on the takeoff.
Team score for the Gym Dogs, Kayla Worley.
And then squatted really low, but pulled it right back up. Nice tuck, front tuck step out all the way through to a tuck double back. Landed very high on that one.
She was coached by former LSU star Susan Jackson. She did her club work here in Baton Rouge. Back to the beam now. Kaylan Earls, 9.8 floor. Shayla Worley had a 9.9. That's what Georgia needs over there. Kaylan Earls is their final performer. And they trail LSU by a little less than 3/10 of a point.
But this is the kind of difficulty you want to reward. 2 layouts there. And this is a really important routine, not just for Georgia, but for Kaylan. She had a fall in one of the competitions, and you just need to erase that, get it out of your DNA and move on. And she really needs to, a great performance here, build that confidence. Especially in this anchor spot. It's interesting when you determine a lineup, it's not just the routine that you want in a certain position, but with certain athlete in that position. Some are more comfortable in the anchor spot. Some are better. Even a great routine might want to go fifth. That was a fabulous routine, great difficulty, and she nailed it.
And a courage to do a double back at the end.
Yes, so rewarded.
Thank you for your attendance tonight.
2 layouts, back to back, double back dismount, loaded with difficulty.
Lloimincia Hall has already scored a perfect 10 this year for her exciting work on the floor exercise. We asked her about her inspiration.
The floor routine comes with two African-American artists, gospel artists, that are known for many Stellar Awards, many Grammys, Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary. And then the ending, of course, is Drumline. The songs are saying how God is in me and that I'm walking to heaven. And the choreography, I wanted to kind of go inside with it, because how could you have a gospel music with untasteful choreography? So therefore, Ashley Clark-Kearney, which is an awesome national champion and wonderful, paved the way for so many of us here at LSU. It took a couple of weeks because we wanted to have something, a message was being shown. Whenever you're trying to show a message, you want to make sure that it's come across as such, and it's, of course, tasteful.
Well, there's 5,517 fans on the edges of their seats here, ready for what will surely be a highlight. Lloimincia Hall, she's already scored a perfect 10 early this year. Rheagan Courville, by the way, had a 9.825 before her.
And Bart, this is not just a routine. This is an experience, both for the performer and everyone here in the audience. She has a YouTube following, a huge one apparently. The expressions of the people in the crowd.
And they are on their feet for Lloimincia Hall.
What do you say, Tiger fans?
She will cap off a terrific rotation on the floor for the Tigers. What do you say about this tumbling?
The choreography is something else, but her tumbling is first rate. She gets up in the air, does good difficulty, open with the double layout, front with a full front layout, comes up with good landings, and then does her thing.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, on that stage from Georgia, exhibition gymnast Britney Ranzy.
And the score for Lloimincia Hall, a 9.95 tonight, and that will do it. And here are the scores for everybody from LSU on the floor. 49.375, their team total there. For Georgia on the beam, 2 clutch performances from Shayla Worley and Kaylan Earls. 49.225, their score on the beam. The final score tonight, LSU 197.05, Georgia 196.825. Let's take a look at the highlights of 2 of the big stars tonight for LSU. Kaleigh Dickson started them off with a 9.9 on vault. You see her score there of 39.375, a career high in the all-around, which included this 9.85 on floor exercise. And Rheagan Courville, a 9.925 for this outstanding vault. As as well as a 9.85 for a very difficult routine on the balance beam. Kathy Johnson-Clark is with the LSU coaches, Dee Bro and Jay Clark, right now.
Well, I'll get the one little negative out of the way. Beam, tell me what happened there on balance beam.
We are having a shaky middle person, second person, and we moved Kaleigh Dickson to first and did a great job, and we thought we had hit a home run. And then Britney Ranzy was not the rock that she was in practice. So we've got some other kids like Savona, but she was at home this week for a funeral. And I mean, we just made some choices that probably weren't our best choices tonight.
On to the great stuff. Started off great on vault and the uneven bars. It's been a work in progress, but it is coming along. So from your perspective.
They're getting better, you know, and they've worked very, very hard. These kids are very coachable, very compliant, and it's a joy to coach them. I'm very excited for the progress that they've been making. They've done a great job.
Well, I know this hadn't been the easiest transition, but something is working. It looks like you're on your way to something special.
Well, I think it's a united message. I mean, you can tell the coaches like each other, and I think our message has been very consistent, and the team is very compliant.
Well, good luck, and we'll see you at SECs.
Thanks, Kathy.
And congratulations once again to the LSU Tigers as their momentum continues in 2013. Thanks for watching tonight's SEC Gymnastics. For Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bart Connor. Once again, our final score, LSU 197.05, Georgia 196.825. This has been the SEC on ESPN.